Hello, I'm Camille Kirksey, the founder of World Homeschoolers Day, the only holiday that celebrates homeschoolers worldwide. This year, the holiday offers free events and giveaways brought to you by our generous sponsors, one of whom you're going to meet right now. I'd like to welcome Taccara from Reconstruction, who's here to share with us today. Taccara, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited to chat with you this morning.
So, can you just formally introduce yourself and tell us what you do over at Reconstruction?
Yes, so again, my name is Taccara Marzette. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Reconstruction. At Reconstruction, what I do is a little bit of everything. I work with a lot of our school district and school-based partners, as well as our community-based partners, and also think about different strategic partners that we can align with who have similar missions and visions as we do. So a little bit of everything, but really focusing on partnerships and building strong ones that can help get our mission and vision out to more students.
In a nutshell, can you tell us about what Reconstruction offers?
Yes, ma'am. So we are a live tutored online curriculum provider, and we provide culturally relevant curriculum that centers Black culture, Black joy, and Black excellence. And so, as I said, we partner with school districts and community organizations really to enrich their current program offerings with our unique curriculum.
Nice. What's your favorite product or service that Reconstruction offers?
So it's really hard because we have over 150 courses and I love all of our courses, but two that stand out for me is one is our Cooking for the Soul course. And so that's a really engaging family-based course where families, they learn about the historical relevance of the dish and then they actually cook the dish live in class together. And so this course has 5 different dishes that they're cooking, things like black eyed peas and collard greens and smothered chicken. But again, as they are cooking the dish, they're learning about why did we saute the onions for the black eyed peas? Why did we add a little piece of ham hock in those black eyed peas back in the day? Why do we use turkey in our greens versus pork in our greens now? So bringing up those health benefits and really gets kids and families having conversations about food. My second class that I really, really love is our class. It actually won an award and it was developed in partnership with the Folger Shakespeare Library, and it's our Black Shakespeare course. And in that particular class, students are looking at the intersection of Black lives during the time that Shakespeare was writing his plays. And I love that course because if you are a child in the public school system or even homeschooling, you're going to learn about Shakespeare. Shakespeare comes up. But this course looks at Shakespeare in such a different way, and students then leave that class looking at all kinds of historical documents differently and like, okay, so what were Black people doing at this time in history? Because it doesn't mention them, but clearly they were alive. So it really just gets students thinking differently about all kinds of historical texts that they will encounter in high school.
I love that so much because that's something I very much promote is asking that question of where were the other people? Where were the women? Where were
Mm-hmm.
the people of color? Because yeah, we don't see that enough. So I'm so glad there are classes like that offered, especially with Shakespeare, because we definitely
Yes,
see. I mean,
yes,
we can see it on adaptations, but when it's taught classically, that's not part of the story. So that's wonderful.
yes.
Quick.
I absolutely love that class. Like I said, I enrolled myself in it as an adult because I was like, I didn't know any of this. And I used to teach English and I taught Shakespeare and I didn't know any of these facts. So I really, really love that class.
I was just about to ask, are they the classes just for kids or are they for adults too?
They are for adults. Anyone can take our courses at Reconstruction. And what I find is I take some of our elementary based courses and I'm like, I didn't know that. So I have 2 children. I have a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, and they've taken courses with us. And again, I'm sitting in the background of class taking my notes too, because I'm like, I didn't know that. So it really is an opportunity for you to learn things that you never learned in school.
Yeah, and with homeschooling, that's one of the things that we are big on is learning alongside with your kids. So if you can get
Yes,
those little nuggets in too, that's great. I love that. I love that.
yes.
So what do you love most about serving the homeschooling community?
Yes, I love this question because as a parent and a former public school educator and administrator, I've honestly always admired homeschooling families, the dedication that it takes, and really being a true advocate for your children and family, and knowing like, hey, I'm going against the grain because this is what is best for my family and my situation. And so that's really the reason that I love serving those that particular community, because just the dedication, and it really takes, a silent power in yourself to say, I know this is what the mainstream is doing, but I'm going to do this. And so just that dedication and the power and the advocacy that I see in that community, I really love.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We don't get enough of that. So we
Yes,
appreciate
I
that.
love it.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give homeschoolers who are looking for history, like factual, real, tell me what really happened type of resources?
Absolutely. I really like this question too, because in coming into this work, there are lots of companies out here who are doing similar types of work. But what I would say is do your research, because there are lots of companies doing the work, but you have to really dig and see who are the people who are writing these courses, who's on these boards, like really figure out what's happening and who are the people behind the scenes, because you never know what you actually get once you break open that curriculum, and people's hearts will come out in the actual lessons. And so really do your research and find out who are the people who are writing the content that's about to be put in front of your children.
That is wonderful advice, and it's absolutely something when you start turning over those rocks of like knowledge. It's very hard to go back and just trust everything you see. So it's good to know that that's what you're supposed to do. Question it and
Mhm.
see who's behind it and what the agenda might be, possibly,
And
and
that,
then go
and
from there.
sorry to go back to the Black Shakespeare, but that's what happens with a lot of students. Once they take that Black Shakespeare's course, they're like, wait a minute, now I have some other questions
Yes.
because I read this and I read that and it didn't mention this. So now I need to go back and rethink everything that I've learned.
Yep, and that's part of what we do as homeschoolers. It's called deschooling, and I say it's literally a lifetime type of things, because we've been when you see something and then you see something that counters that, those
Hmm.
questions get there, and it's fun, but it's also difficult. But it's good to
Hmm.
know that that's normal. Like you're supposed to question and find the truth because it's in there. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
We call it emancipatory curiosity at Reconstruction.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes.
Emancipatory curiosity. Oh, that gives me chills. I love that. Thanks for
Yes.
sharing that. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. So, what are some ways that Reconstruction helps homeschoolers?
When I think about this question, I think the fact that we are able to provide a wide variety of courses on demand, as well as providing live tutored courses. That's one of the biggest things that set us apart from other curriculum providers, because you can buy the curriculum and then implement it yourself. However, with Reconstruction, our reconstructors or our tutors are the ones that are actually teaching the courses. So homeschooling parents, you actually get a break. All you have to do is log your kids onto their reconstruction class, and you can go chill for those 45 minutes that they're on with their tutor. And I think that's a really great benefit to homeschooling families as well as teachers in a regular school, because you just get that 45-minute break to relax and know that your child is also being engaged and they're in a space that is affirming them. And a lot of times they're choosing the courses that they want to take. And so they're really engaged in them.
And I love when you can be taught by someone who's passionate about it. It's one
Yes.
thing to be knowledgeable, but to be passionate about it and to be an online teacher, you have to have that passion because you'll
Yes.
fall flat. So it's good to know that that is intentional to say,
Yes.
not only are these topics relevant and you're going to learn something, but we're going to have a good time and you're going to like it. So I
Mhm.
love that.
And we also keep our classes small, because one of the things that we learned in COVID is that having 40, 50 kids on a Zoom screen is not going to work. And so we keep our classes small to 10 students or less. And so that way the tutor, the reconstructor can really build that relationship with students. And then one thing that I'm just thinking about now is our company is nationwide. And so you can have a student who is in Florida taking a class with a student who's somewhere in California. And now they're not connecting and they're meeting someone. And what we found, we have a couple of homeschooling pods that have been taking courses with us that are in various places, but now like they're starting to plan meetups and have, just different opportunities for the students to get together because they've been connecting virtually through Reconstruction.
I love that so much. I consider myself a bridge builder where I can connect. I'm that central point that can connect people all over the world, and that's such a powerful responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that that is something that's very valuable when it comes to
Yeah.
what you offer and the people that take your courses. Can you share something about Reconstruction that you think homeschoolers don't know?
Yeah, so I think one of the misconceptions about Reconstruction is like, oh, y'all are unapologetically Black, so this is for Black students. And while we are unapologetically Black, there are benefits for all students taking Reconstruction courses because it's just history. It's telling history in a way that we've never seen it taught before, but it's still history. And we see so many benefits of non-Black students like, wow, I really didn't know that. And then it just helps to change the perceptions that people have about different races. And so, again, we are unapologetically Black in Reconstruction, but there's something that everyone benefits from taking one of our courses.
I'm glad you bring up that point because it's important. And I know they've done studies in schools about when you're learning from maybe a Black male or Indian male or, a Black woman, having different faces in place is so important. It's very
Yes.
subconscious, but it really does matter. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm,
love that.
mm-hmm.
So, speaking of, why does having diverse and inclusive products and services matter?
It's that whole theory of windows, mirrors, and sliding doors, right? You know, having curriculum that is a window into someone else's culture is really helpful. It helps to disrupt what we see on the media because we know, again, the media has their certain agendas that they want to push, but it helps to disrupt those images that you see and messages that you see. The mirrors, like I said, Black students, they need those opportunities to see themselves in a positive way, see, not just the Jim Crow era, not just the enslavement period, but see the triumphant things that Black people have done in spite of all of those things. And then sliding doors, being able to go in and out of each other's cultures. Once we have a shared understanding and respect for one another, now we can invite each other in. And so, like, if we talk about changing the world, that's really how we can change the world, by continuing to expose one another to the diversity of our lives. Even within Black culture, there's so much diversity. And so it's just really important so that we can see and respect the differences, but also learn that there's much more that we have in common than we have different.
That's a beautiful response. And I love that windows, mirrors, and sliding doors. That visual is so helpful because it can be real, like esoteric, like what does that really mean? But
Mm-hmm.
those three images are very clear. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. That's a whole another conversation. We can have this on
Yes,
that.
it is. It is.
Yeah. So, what inspires Reconstruction to do what it does?
So I alluded to this a little bit a moment ago, and you kind of mentioned it too. But we know that there is a need for all students to have Black teachers and diverse teachers in front of them. However, in this country, that percentage is very, very low of Black teachers in front of Black students. And then talking about Black-centered content, again, we know that there is very few of that in schools, of texts, of word stories that center Black experiences in a positive way. And so that's really what inspires us to do the work that we do, putting more Black teachers in front of students and putting more Black positive centered content in front of students. There was a study that came out a few years ago, and they looked at all these textbooks and all these books of third grade literature, and only like 3% of them had stories that had Black characters as the central character. And the majority of the characters in these books were not people. They were animals and just these creatures. And so it's like, if you're not seeing yourself ever in the content, what are you like subconsciously being told? And so that's really what inspires us to do the work that we do at Reconstruction.
Yes, everything you said. Everything you said. Yeah. So, what can people expect from Reconstruction next?
We are just going to continue pushing out this dope Black-centered content. We currently have a curriculum writing fellowship where we have some fellows who have been going through coursework to learn how to write this type of content, and really just continuing to push this out, because as more people learn about the work that we're doing at Reconstruction, more people want to be involved and have courses. And so really just continuing to push the needle forward with that.
Love it. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
No, there isn't. I'm just really grateful for this opportunity to share a little bit more about the work we do at Reconstruction, work that I really truly love. And I do hope that we see some of your community on Reconstruction.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. So, speaking of, where can people find you online?
Yes, we are at reconstruction.us. Reconstruction.us. That is where you can find us, and you will find all of our courses as well as our summer jam courses. Those are our courses that are specifically aligned to summer programming, and a lot of fun courses. You see our cooking course, our step course. We have a lot of fun things going on this summer.
Well, thank you so much, Taccara, for being here today and for sharing all about Reconstruction and for them being a 2023 World Homeschooler sponsor.
Thank you.